There is the happiest picture I've done. 3 children dancing in the golden light of the morning in a wildflower meadow, and the wind is blowing their dresses and their hair, and the sun is peeking up over the horizon. Wow. Is there anything that I could do that would contribute to the world that might make it a little brighter, that might make somebody smile just a little bit? Maybe that's what I want to do. At 70 years old, I still ask myself, what do I want to do? Well, maybe that's what I want to do. Maybe there's enough stuff on the TV and on the internet and in the news. Maybe there's enough stuff to make you scowl and just want to say something that's cutting edge. Just let everybody know how you feel. And maybe what I want to do, I want to show children in a golden meadow that's what I want to do. All right, well, I did it today. Let me show you how I did this right now. Okay. Oh, look at all these colors I've prepared for this picture. You don't really need that many colors. You really only need the primaries and white. Maybe black. I prefer Payne's gray instead of black, but Payne's gray, black, works pretty good. Sometimes it depends. I would recommend, if you're going to use black, I would use a little bit of blue with it, and that's only like for the grays. I know it's hard to explain. I should do a whole video on that. But for darkening colors, I would use the complementary, the opposite color. So use red to darken green, etc. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure I don't have a crooked horizon. I noticed the last couple of pictures I've been winging the horizon, and I've looked at it later on and thought, well, that doesn't look straight completely. So, or at least horizontal. And the very definition of a horizon is horizontal, right? So now we want the tree line back here to be very, very distancy, and then dipping down to here, maybe up a little bit over there, and of course our sun is going to be there. We're going to have all this beautiful sunlit meadow here, and we have our 3 children. We're going to put one of them here, and I like to put the eyes at the horizon. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that. It's not a hard, fast rule, by the way. It's just something. And I don't want the children to be perfectly centered either. So there's the 3 little faces. Let me get there. The little bodies here. They're just having a good time with each other. Just sketching. One of the things I don't like to do is sketch with pencil with watercolor. But you see, I am sketching with pencil. That's because this is gouache, and gouache has the ability to be opaque. So as an opaque medium, it's a lot less daring to use pencil as a sketch medium. I think sometimes, like, I've tried sketching with paint, and I tried sketching with what do you call it? Charcoal. What do you call it? I couldn't remember what to call it. And yeah, they all have their pros and cons, I guess you might say. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun picture. I just want a fun picture. Something fun. I'm not really worried about their faces specifically. The children usually have big, healthy cheeks and you know, this nice, simple look to them. We're not drawing specific children, so they don't have to be exactly right. Them smiling, big cheeks and smiling faces. A lot of the details I'll worry about after I can. After I get the paint on there. This is just my way of keeping it this way. Let's see. There we go, there's our three little children. I think I'm going to have to make sure I get those faces looking good. I'm going to take the eraser and just get rid of that horizon line that's on their faces. Even though the paint can cover it, I just don't want it to be in the way. The rest of it is okay. Alright, can you see? Can you see what I did there? I'm not so sure if I like that. Not so sure. Oh well, let's get started with them. Maybe what I'll do, I'll take a smaller brush. I feel like I don't like the composition too much. Maybe the girls are too big. No, you know what? I'll just leave it like it is. All right, let's just grab some of this burnt sienna. Let's just try to get the shape of the shape of them. Maybe I could use a little bit of white mixed in there. A little bit of yellow. There we go. Just a little bit. Go ahead and get it wet. Let it be like watercolor for now. We'll worry about the hair later on because we're going to have the background, and the hair is going to be. I'm just trying to get a little bit there. Their body's kind of painted in here. Yeah, I want them all to be backlit, so if you're wondering what I'm doing, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm going to ask you to forgive me for not talking a whole lot right now. I feel like I need to focus. I feel like I need to get this right. What I'm doing basically is mixing yellow, orange, and yellow ochre and burnt sienna and white. just kind of create some kind of a dark, shadowy. The backlit effect has to have a lot of dark. Otherwise, you won't get that effect. At least that's the thinking that I'm having right now as I do this. Maybe you can see it. Maybe you can see what I'm trying to do. Because in this particular picture, the landscaping is just as important as the foreground. Here we go. Yeah, it looks good. Looks good. I'm gonna have them in tall grass, so their legs probably won't be that noticeable. But you know, doing children's books, I can't stress this enough. You sort of have to have your own way, I think, to do pictures of children. A lot of book illustrators, and maybe it's the authors who are dictating this, but a lot of children's illustrators will use animals instead of human children, which works perfectly. That way you can make them all like cute little kittens or little puppies or whatever, whatever seems to work. They got children have such tiny little noses. You got to be careful. You don't want to give them an adult nose. Yeah, you can sort of see what I'm doing here. Yeah, this is going to take a few layers, I think, to get this right. Well, you got to start somewhere. Got to start somewhere. Sometimes I will get little messages from people who view these videos asking specifically about children's books. And I have illustrated, I think the number is 16. I've done about 16 children's books, or maybe more if you count the books that I only did the covers. I did some books where I only did the covers. And so the questions usually are about the books themselves, not about the illustrations of the books. So while I do know a little bit about the process of the publishing part of it, I'm not the expert. So that's why I feel like, and I looked to see online if there were some people who have published or recorded videos like I do, but instead they focus more on the printing and the publishing part of it. Now, I do something kind of unique from the rest of them, is that I use Procreate instead of Photoshop. And that right there makes, well, for me, I don't use Procreate because it's better. I mean, it's awesome. So I don't know, it's hard to compare apples and oranges or whatever the saying is, but the others are using Photoshop, and they're very good at it, and the end result is very good. And same thing with Procreate. So don't get hung up on which program is better. Just maybe try the ones that are out there and see which ones you like. All right. All right, let me think how to do this now. All right, got a lot of reflections have to go on with these girls. All right, let's just do this red dress over here, and we'll get some. I just want to kind of have fun with this. bit of burnt, a little bit of Payne's gray in there. Bring it around to the light side. See, that's the thing about this particular painting, is these girls are all being lit from the sun. That's the whole theme here, is the sun. The sun hitting them. So I'm going to do this. It really is working better with watered down color. I think it's moving smoother. What's the saying? Take your time. There's no hurry. There's no hurry here. I like to block things in a lot of times when I'm not sure about what I'm doing. I like to block it in and then look at it, and then you can see where the details need to be. Okay, let's get some of this very light blue here. Give this girl a blue dress. Yeah, we're gonna block it in, I think, and then we'll worry about the rest of it once it's blocked in. I can already see it. It's working out nice. Okay, let me clean this brush. And then the other dress. Let's see. I want that to be just a slight shade of white. A lighter shade of pale. How about that? To quote that song. Just a little bit of shadow might be all it takes. And again, we're going to use the layering idea. If I can just get it in there. Just grab this color and bring it everywhere. And now we got the three girls kind of blocked in. So they are the part of the picture that will need to be really refined. But I think what I need to do now is to get the background and the landscape. So I want this to be the golden hour of the day. You know, where the sky looks orange. So I'm going to go ahead and use this brush and just go ahead and see what I can do here. I know it's weird to just say the sky is going to be orange, But you know, sometimes it is. It's just orange. It's that golden time of the morning. The golden hour. The golden hour is so elusive. It's so quick. It goes right away. And so when you're doing plein air painting, either you have to really like get out there early and then just kind of remember what it looked like, or do a super fast color sketch with color super fast. Or here's the real way to do it in 2025. Just take a photo of it. Yeah. you can still sit there and use the landscape as your reference and say, well, that's where the trees go and that's where the house is, or whatever it is you're painting. But the truth is, if you take a photograph of it, it saves you a lot of trouble. It saves you a lot. It gives you the opportunity to drink your coffee and not worry about it so much. Does that make sense? Yeah, I know it does. Well, you get it. I don't know. You know what? When people say doing stuff like that is cheating, I take issue with that. What do you mean cheating? You know, a pioneer who walked 5 miles to get to the grocery store, or whatever, back in those days, they might say driving 5 miles to the grocery store is cheating. So, see what I mean? So it's not cheating. It's... All right, what do I want to do here? All right, let's make this background. I'm going to get the bottom of the tree line. This is why I use my ruler, because I want this to be straight. I just want this to be a meadow that kind of has a real defined ending where the tree line is. And then I'll build it from there. And these girls are going to be backlit, so a lot of the dark on dark is not something to worry about, because there's going to be light placed in there anyway. Right now I just want to get these dark, and I'm using Payne's gray, not black, but I'm also using that straight line that I used. Let me tell you something. If I was doing this on a canvas, which you never know, I might, this might be one of the small ones that ends up as a big one. But if I was doing this on a canvas, or when I do this on a canvas, I will first paint the canvas orange or orange brown. Yeah, I don't know if you guys do underpaintings when you do large canvases, but it really, I love it. I love the way a painting looks when it was painted underneath. Some artists I've seen, and James Gurney comes to mind here, when they do little pictures like this, they actually do an underpainting with casein. I've never used casein, but I've watched other artists using it. Like I say, James Gurney uses it, and it really does make the painting pop. If you've never tried underpainting, can I just recommend that you just do one of these size things, a little tiny thing, and I think you'll be very happy with the results. And if you're not happy with the results, then obviously maybe it's not for you. I don't know, but I would experiment a little bit, because I've experimented. Like, I've used oranges and blues, like what looks better as an underpainting. Now, let me tell you about my underpaintings. I don't truly paint the picture underneath it. A lot of them do, though. I've seen people paint the whole thing with complementary colors, and it works for them. For me, I just need to put blotches. I just need to put an area of orange and brown. Like when I did, I don't know if you saw the video I did where I painted the 3 dogs just last week. I painted it on a canvas, and I painted the 3 dogs on a canvas. And first I I did an underpainting of orange and brown. And then I painted the dogs and everything else over it. And even though I pretty much covered the painting with paint, I pretty much covered the canvas with paint, even though that is true, you can still see a little bit of that orange and brown peeking through, and that's the secret right there. I think, in my mind, that's why it works, because there's a little hint of it peeking through, and it's kind of unpredictable as to what exactly you'll see when you're done. But I've done it without, of course. Most of my early life in painting, I never did underpainting. I never even heard of it before. And that's why I understand when people are reluctant to do it, because they say, nobody does that. I never heard of that. Why do you need to do that? And, well, you don't. No, there's nobody says you need to do it. But just, I would give it a shot. Just give it a little shot, see what happens. See if you like the end result. One day I'm going to have to buy casein so that I can try it on these little paintings. But, okay, I'm just painting this whole block of trees in with Payne's gray. A lot of this is going to be lightened up because I want the sun to be filtering through the trees. I want the grass in the background to be brilliantly lit by the sun. But I think you can already see the composition coming together. Just this little, it's like an illustration for a children's book. 3 little girls dancing in the meadow, dancing in the meadow. What do you do on a summer day when the morning sun has come up? The day is beginning. You got your friends with you. You got your sisters with you. You just want to have some fun. You just want to, and you want to know something? If this was a real scene, in real life, these children would remember this day for the rest of their lives. They would be 70 years old, and they would be saying to each other if they stayed in touch, remember that time? Remember that time we went out to the meadow and we danced in the morning sun? Remember that? Yeah, you were wearing that red dress. Oh, I hated that red dress. What? I loved that red dress. You can picture the dialogue. You can hear it in your head, right? You can hear the giggles. You can hear the laughter. And what did they do afterwards? They went inside. They played a game. They rode their bicycles. They walked the dog. Maybe there's some horses in this place where they are. They went and they talked to the horses. I love when I see children talking to the horses. Why do I love that so much? I don't know. It's almost like it feels like I'm left out of something. Like the children have some kind of a way to communicate with animals that I don't have. And I've seen it because I live in a place where there's a lot of horses. And I don't see it every day because I don't live with the horses, but when you go to a horse farm or something, or a horse show, and you see children just talking to the horses, it's like, what? They're having whole conversations. It's pretty incredible. Funny thing is, looking at that horizon, it doesn't look straight, but I know it's straight. I used a ruler. Oh well. All right, now we gotta get the brush clean, first of all. Let's go ahead and add some of these yellows and greens here. Let's just have some fun with this part of it. I want to make it yellowish, orangish yellow. Let's just get that yellow and that orange together. Make the meadows sparkle. Yeah. This is the dabbing technique that people always tell me they see me doing this dabbing thing. I didn't even know I did this. But other people pointed it out to me that I don't do brush strokes, I do dabbing. And it was something I didn't realize I did. But I know it now. I get enough comments on it. Just dabbing. You know, maybe it stems from all the work I did with pen and ink. Because with pen and ink, I'm dabbing all the time with the pointillism I did. Alright, where's the... Did I get a light green on here? Yeah, I did. Here it is, hiding in the corner. I'm going to add some yellow to that green. Alright. Come on, horizon, stay there. Don't be bending upward. You can almost texture this paint. It's so rich. It's kind of one of the things that's fun with gouache, is that it has that ability to build, to have texture, to have depth. The yellow mixed with the green. Yep. Just keep adding color to it. I just took a dab of the deeper green. What time is it? It's 6:30 in the morning. The golden hour is probably happening right now outside, but mine is happening in here. Yeah, right where I live, with the golden hour really is a thing of beauty. That little time of the morning where everything is beautiful. Oh man. So what are your plans for today? What are you guys doing? The only thing I have to do is Robin has to go back to the eye doctor today. And her eye doctor's a little bit of a drive. So that's going to be, it's kind of like a road trip. Road trip to the doctor. That's what happens when you get old. Where are you going today, Grandpa? Where are you going, Papa? Oh, I'm going to go on a road trip. Oh, that sounds fun. Where are you going? To the doctor. Well, that doesn't sound fun. That does not sound fun. No. Doctor, road trip, those two things don't go together. Well, they sort of do when you're old. You know, I get my cup of coffee. Yep. Or a soda. We'll see. Let's see what I'm in the mood for. What do you drive? Do you know what they have a lot around here? They have golf carts. A lot of people have golf carts. I don't have a golf cart, but I would like to have a golf cart. One day I'll buy a golf cart. One day I'll be one of the old men in the golf cart. Why do I want a golf cart? I don't know. I think it goes back to being a kid at heart. I am truly a kid at heart. And as a kid, I mean, just the idea of driving a golf cart, does it not make sense to you? I guess it depends how old you are. Yeah, I'm just building these colors here. Just trying to go from dark, super dark in the foreground here. Kind of like that idea. And then we can always add some like nice bright yellow flowers. So So we got a way to go still in this picture. I know you know. I know you know what I mean. So the place we have to go for the eye doctor is called Lady Lake. Have you ever heard in this part of Florida of a place called the Villages? Well, it's very close to that. In fact, you have to go through the Villages a little bit to get to the doctor's office. This is where I got to be delicate here. Don't want to mess up what I already got started here. Sometimes Robin will come in when I'm halfway through a picture, and she likes the way it looks when it's when it's like at this stage. She'll tell me, "Oh, I like it like that. Just don't go any further." But I can't stop. I have to get it through to the vision I have. I have a vision right here. All right, let's get a little bit more yellow in here. I'll put a lot more yellow as we get deeper into the picture. But I sort of want to get a feel for it. That's why I'm taking my time with this. This is basically an underpainting too, if you think about it. A layered painting. You know, the lower layers, the bottom layers are truly an underpainting. So... yeah, Robin had a scary thing with her eye, her left eye, but they fixed it. It was unbelievable how they could fix it. She had a macular hole. I'll just tell you what it is. She probably doesn't want me to tell you, but that's what it was. And the way they fixed it was they injected nitrous oxide or something in her eye, in her eyeball, so a big bubble in her eye, and they told her you can't fly, you can't go to high altitudes, because that bubble will expand, and that will be very bad. But then eventually, it's what the bubble does is it pushes the retina back into place where it detached, I guess, for lack of a better way to explain it. And little by little, the bubble went away, and she could, the part that was missing from her vision was coming back. I was like, whoa, that's incredible. And now, the reason she's going today is for just a checkup, because basically the bubble's gone and she can see well again. And it's like, wow. I wonder who came up with that idea. How did they try it first, There's just so many. How do they do trials on things like that where I'm going to inject a bubble into your eye? That's kind of scary. But I guess when you get to a certain age, you just say, well, you have to trust these young doctors. They seem to know what they're doing. We put our health in their hands, that's for sure. Right? I know you know. If you're a young artist watching this, first of all, thank you for watching. Second of all, sorry you have to listen to an old man talk about old man things. But that's kind of what I am. The more more time passes, the older I get. Isn't that just the way it is? The more time passes, the older we all get. Well, that's a comforting thing to think. I'm not alone in this. I'm not alone in this aging thing. Wait a minute. You're getting old too. What am I talking about? We're all getting old. Wow, think about that. If there's something you want to do, don't wait till you're old. If you can possibly do it. If the thing is you really want to do. Robert Schuller, the preacher, used to say, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? What would you do? What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? That's an interesting thought. I used to watch Robert Schuller sometimes when he had his show. I don't know if that show still. It's like a church show. So, all right, I'm getting there. I'm getting there with this green, multiple colors, all these different layers of green on here. Let's be real careful. I mean, you can already see the composition. It's obvious, I think, at this point. I like that. I like the way it's looking. Alright, a lot of this stuff has to be done after I finish the girls, because there's going to be a lot of these flowers, and this grass is going to be in front of them, actually, on this side of them. But right now I'm just going to do the best I can to try to add some of these little flowers and stuff, little dots that make your mind think that these are flowers. All these little dots that make flowers. Alright, let me clean that brush. I'm going to use the same brush now to kind of add a little bit of darker yellowish green. Darker yellowish green, does that make sense? To the background here. Oops, that's a little too light. Let's darken it up a little more. Okay. Let's get it just right. today is a little more Payne's gray back here. A little hint of this green. If I can just, I feel like I'm not quite getting it there. Come on. What's going on over there? How come that's not picking up on the brush? There we go. A little bit back there. Alright, now what I want to do, again, I'm going to use the same brush. I'm liking the way this brush is working, so I'm going to use the same brush. See if I can get some of these trees to look orange. Let that orange glow coming down from that sun right there. I'm going to lighten those trees. You'll be able to see them a little bit. Let's see, it's almost like glazing it a little bit. Just glazing it. Yeah, that's the light source. That's where the light's coming from. Right there. There we go. Might need to put more yellow on there. But you see how it brightened that area right there where the sun is coming across. Let me get some more. Put some more yellow on the palette here. A little bit. Kind of blur that line a little bit. The tall grass of the meadow reaches all the way back to that tree line. Alright, now I think it's time to add some fine lines to the girls, and then we'll come back and do some broader lines. I got this one brush that I like for my fine lines, and it's actually bent. Can you see the bend in the brush? Can you see it's bent a little bit? But it works really well as a tiny little brush. So here I go now. I try to add some of these fine lines. I kind of did the same thing with that little boy yesterday with the fishing. The boy that was fishing. That's fishing. Kind of did the same thing. Okay, we're starting to see what I'm hoping to make happen here. Okay, let's get some of this very light color here. Very light. Gotta get it lighter than that. It's gotta be almost white. Alright, now tiny little bit of this raw umber, real tiny. Just enough to make an eye. And an eye over here. A little tiny bit. Alright, now I'm going to use a small brush, but not as small as that one. That was a real tiny brush. Now this one is a little bit bigger. I'm going to get it wet. Try to add some more depth to their hair. See what I can do. It's kind of weird to try to have to get the brush wet, but still keep it creamy, the paint. Alright, same with this girl here. It's 7 o'clock. How long have I been working on this? Almost an hour. Maybe a little bit over an hour, I'm not sure. Yeah, this is a long one. This one's taken some time. But I wanted to. I wanted to do this one. I don't have to go to the doctor till this afternoon, 2 o'clock. It takes about an hour and a half to get there, though. So that means I gotta leave here about, what, 1:30? No, what am I saying? 12:30. I guess. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I'm not worried about it. Because look, I'm getting close to being done with this. It's a very rewarding feeling to get a painting done. As small as this is. What I like about this one is the composition. I like this composition, even if I don't like... I mean, I do like the painting so far. I feel like I might have some reservations about it, but no, I'm not going to be negative. I'm going to be positive here. Just remember. Just remember. Just keep working on it. Remember, everything is fixable. There we go. Children dancing. Children playing in the sun. And we're getting there. We're getting there. All right, let me use a lot bigger brush. I'm going to take some of this paint is now drying, so I got to reactivate it. That's another good thing about gouache, is you can reactivate it. Just get it back to where you want it to be. I think I want her dress to be a lot darker, so that we can have more of the sense of the sunlight hitting it. Yeah, that's what I like. That looks good. Okay. Now let's get this little girl with the blue dress. Let's get her blue. Water down a bit. Let's get some shade in here. There we go. Same idea. Same idea. Make the dress a little bit darker so that we can add the highlights. And then this girl, we're going to take some of this white make it almost like a gray also. Yeah, I think that works. We're getting there. Okay. There we go. Now let's go for some of that white. Just go ahead and take a chance and make some of this white. Let's get that little tiny brush again. What do I do with it? Alright, I think we need some more fresh white out of there. Sometimes coming out of the tube, the white is better. Okay, we got our three girls. I think I like the three girls the way they are now. Let me take a look at this dark. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay. Now let's do some of these foreground flowers. So I need a small brush, but not a tiny brush. I think that'll work. I think this one might work. Alright, let's get some of these orange flowers right here. We might put some right here. These yellow, orange flowers, we want them right here up against there, so they're in the foreground. That's why I wasn't so worried about the legs before, because I knew I was going to be doing this. Making these flowers right here. It just looks so joyful now. I'm just liking the way it looks. It's a joyful golden morning. Alright, now let's put a little tiny brown dots in the middle of those flowers. You know why? Because it looks like daisies that way. I know, it's cheating. Hey, it's no such thing as cheating, come on. It's art, and you have fun with art. Yeah, all these little flowers now have dots in the middle of them because it makes it easier. Your mind says, oh, that must be a flower because it has a little dot in there. Alright, kids, now there's only one more thing to do, and you know what it is. It's the little tiny wisps, the vertical wisps, right? And what are we going to use for the vertical wisps? We're going to use this yellow green. Mix the yellow with the green. Just create some wisps. There's one. What is that? What are those wisps? Are they grass? Are they stems from the flowers? I don't know. I don't know what they are. But your mind makes your mind tells you what they are. Okay, I know this is a long video, so anyway, I think I'm done. You know what? I'm not done. I want to add a little bit more darkness, I think, to the hair over here. A little bit more shadow. Yeah, that's good enough. Just that little bit. Alright, I'm done. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you later.